All right, here we're going to take this is the project that I decided I want to do. So what I did is first I cropped it down so that these guys are running off the sides. I'm going to alter the background and change some of these things, but I want these two birds in that position, but I cropped the picture. So what I did also then is I made a black and white version that I'm going to do my drawing from, and I cropped this down after I printed it. Now what I need to do is make this big sheet the same proportion as the small sheet. So I'm going to do that diagonal enlargement. Now, this looks more rectangular this way. Don't put it like this, okay? Or don't put this paper like this. Try to get these, they both look sort of like horizontal rectangles right now. I'm going to lay this down in the corner, okay? And I'm going to be drawing a line diagonally. So really all I need to do is mark where this point is, okay? I'll just make a real dark mark so you can see it. And then what I'm going to do is lay my ruler through that mark, and wherever that runs off, so that's going to run off, I'm going to put a mark here and just slide my ruler up, and it runs off right there. That tells me that I need to put a line right here on the paper cutter and cut that off so that this is the same proportion as this picture right here. Now, if you line yours up and it runs off right there, that means you got to cut the top off. If you line this up and it runs off perfectly in the corner, that means this and the larger sheet are the same proportion. Now I'm going to fold these both up and put a grid on them. Okay, now that I made a grid on here and also a large grid, I'm going to start to transfer my drawing. Now remember, you can re-grid some areas. In this particular square, there's a lot of detail. His eye, his beak, his little mouth, and some of these details. So what I'm going to do on this one is I'm actually going to divide this up a little bit more. So if you want to, you can kind of draw a real light line from corner to corner to find the center, and that will help you determine how to divide that. So I just divided that up, and I divided that up. So I put another grid right there, okay? And then that happens to be square 3B, and I'm going to put a grid right here. I'm just going to do this lightly, there, and right there, okay? So now that should help a little bit to determine where things are. So you can see like this beak here, okay? This beak is running off. Oh, this is about halfway. This part here is about halfway between here and here. So there's that beak. And then I can see the beak here is leaving a little bit past halfway. So I'm gonna put sometimes what I'll do is I'll put little marks like this. So here we go. There's the beak coming around into here. Okay, it comes up right near this intersection. This part is right here. And then his eye is up in this area. And then he's got this black curve thing that comes up near the eye. And so on. Get the idea? Okay, here I've now completed my drawing based on this picture on this larger sheet of newsprint, okay? Now a couple things just to take note of. You know, on this bird, he's got some markings, like you could see he's got some blue markings up here and it becomes a little greener and so on. You know, is it important that this is perfectly accurate? Not really. So I always think of this. I really use my grid for things that are super important. It's important I get the proportions of his face correct and his eye correct and things like that. It's not super important that I get like the markings, exactly where that curve is. Now, on this picture, I do not like their feet. So what I'm gonna do is I just kind of place their feet in sort of a general spot. And then what I'm gonna do before I continue, I'm gonna find another picture of a bird's foot grabbing onto a branch and make a more completed foot here, because I wanna do a better job on these feet than this picture shows me. So I need another picture reference to do that, okay? Once I get that done and my drawing is done, then I'll be transferring this onto pastel paper, and I'll show you that in our next demonstration.